Welcome back. This time I'm just holding my microphone. Let me know if this is much better than using a stand. Before we move on, just to remind you guys, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you happen to be one of them, consider subscribing because you do not want to miss out on all of these details. Let's talk about this individual, Gallant. This came on the Al Jazeera newspaper and other mainstream media, so it is confirmed that they have solid report, and we now know that Gallant, this war minister right here, he's actually going to cancel his meeting with Lloyd Austin in the States. Means he's not going to the United States, which would ultimately mean that the strike on Iran is going to be postponed for sure, if not officially. It is already postponed, I think so, because without US's approval, they cannot strike Iran, simply because there are a lot of variables for that. And main factor for that is because of the distance they have with Iran. It's a long distance. They need refueling, they need servicing of their F-35 fighter jets, they need stations in Saudi Arabia, in Jordan, in other countries where they could actually, if you like, use those military bases, air bases as a transit. And for all of this to happen, Israel, they do need US's approval, and they are not getting it. And I have mentioned this in my other videos too, that Netanyahu and Joe Biden, they're not talking for the last almost now 2 months. I said 50 days yesterday, but now it's almost 50 days, 2 months, almost the same thing. Why? Because when Israel attacked the Hezbollah commanders and they were escalating their fight with Hezbollah, that was the time when Joe Biden had big problem, because Joe Biden never wanted, looks like to me now, these Hezbollah commanders to be assassinated by Israel, because obviously it was going to escalate the situation, and it did. And this is why we are seeing that Israel right now is in Lebanon, and their coming to Lebanon was not approved by Joe Biden administration. Yes, US is supporting them. Yes, US is still sending them weapons, murder weapons and all of those things, and UK is also helping. But these are not happening in collaboration with the US, the president of the US, Joe Biden, and his administration. They are not collaborating on this. They're sending weapons, but they're not on the same page for the most part. And so Gallant, he said, I'm not going to go to US. He canceled the trip actually. And now the strike on Iran is being postponed. Now I want to actually share with you another important article that was published, I believe is on Bloomberg. And this article basically talks about Russian President Vladimir Putin and his government. They are now sharing nuclear secrets with their Iranian counterpart. What you are seeing right now is this guy. He's from Iran. His name is Ali Akbar Ahmadian, and he met with Putin in Russia. So this meeting is in Russia, in St. Petersburg, where he was asking Putin to share and encourage and promote and help Iran with this nuclear bomb. And because of this particular visit, this guy Ali Akbar Ahmadian, UK and US right now, they're panicking. Why? Well, it is because they cannot afford to have Iran nuclear bomb. They are trying their best to stop Iran. This is why we have the JCPOA pact that was introduced back in the year 2013, and 2015 they got the pact agreed by all parties under Obama administration. We know that happened. But then again, Russia is now helping Iran with all those nuclear secrets and whatever they need, Russia is willing to support. This is what it says: Russia sharing nuclear secrets with Iran fuels US and UK worries. The Kremlin has increased its cooperation with Iran over its ambitions to obtain atomic weapons in recent months, according to Western officials familiar with the matter, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss assessments that have not been made public. So Putin is making things much worse for US and UK, who do not want Iran to have a nuclear bomb. Now let's talk about Hezbollah's attack. And before I do that, I just want to also tell you this. Naim Qassem, he said, he's the deputy of Hezbollah. He said yesterday that forget about the Gaza ceasefire. We would not go with that. Let's do a ceasefire directly with Israel. So the contingent for a ceasefire for Hezbollah so far had been that you call it a day in Gaza and you remove your troops, you call it a ceasefire, then we will agree with you for any ceasefire agreements. But now Hezbollah is saying we do not need that, you do not have to have a ceasefire with Gaza, let's do it with one-on-one and stop the war. Now what we are seeing is that Hezbollah, they have launched the biggest ever rocket attack, and this is wreaking havoc in Israel. At Jolts, Israel port city, it says on Times of India that IDF is now terrorized and it triggered alarm. So over 100 rockets fired under 30 minutes. This is something unprecedented. And why they're doing it? Why Hezbollah is launching such an attack? As I said in the past, there is there's one reason. I think this reason would make sense, which is that Hezbollah, they want obviously to destabilize Israel, make people leave Israel, make settlers flee for their life. And the other reason is obviously they are keeping Israel busy with this war. They're escalating it so that Israel will de-escalate it. What looks like to me, US said that we are going to de-escalate through escalation. Remember that famous statement made by the Department of State, I think? Escalation for de-escalation. This is what Hezbollah is doing. They are pushing Israel right now to agree to a ceasefire with Hezbollah, or else we are going to be launching 100 rockets in half an hour, which is significant because it shows that Hezbollah, they have this capability to strike very, very fast, and Israel's Iron Dome or Paper Dome, that's what I call it, will be overwhelmed. They will not be able to protect their cities. Hezbollah launches heaviest rocket attack on Haifa on October the 8th. Rockets are also coming from Gaza. Over 100 rockets fired at Haifa within 30 minutes, many intercepted by Iron Dome. But IDF, they did admit that a lot of them actually, the rockets, they got through. Hitting Haifa suburbs, damage reported. So IDF, this is coming from IDF. Sky over Haifa filled with white trails from interceptor rocket amid explosions. Okay, again, these are all coming in the hour. Shows sirens wailed as thousands rushed to bomb shelters. Impacts felt across the city. It is almost like a missile launch that was done by Iran on October the 1st. Almost equivalent. Obviously, Iran's missiles, they're much more effective and much more deadlier than what Hezbollah is doing and their rockets. Nevertheless, this is creating havoc. Thousands of people in Haifa, they are now under shelter. Normally, they don't do this, especially in a place like Haifa. Is very, very important. It's a port city. Israel has to have this city moving on because they make money, their business, their economy, they depend on this kind of port cities. Nevertheless, because of the intensity of this rocket attack from Hezbollah, Israel, and the Zionist state, they're panicking and they're saying, slow down, guys, don't get out of your house, just be in a safe place, don't go to work. So you can imagine how bad the situation is. Hezbollah continues to direct the war effort, claiming no major damage or arsenal. Basically, in addition to asking for a ceasefire with Israel now, Hezbollah is also claiming that the weapon they have, they're in stock. The weapon they have claimed, they have 150,000 of them. They're still intact. They're still not getting used. So they're sending a message to Israel. You make a choice. If you want to have a fight with us, we are still not starting. And I have reported on this, guys, that one of the analysts, he said, his name is, I believe, his name is Marzani something. I forgot the name, but he's a Middle East analyst, and he said when the war started with Hezbollah and Hamas, he said that Hezbollah, they did not even start the war. They are not even starting it. What he meant is that they have so many rockets and missiles in their arsenal. If they start using them, it will be for months, maybe years, before they will use up all of it, because they have a lot of them. The quantity is huge. They have a huge stockpile of weapons and missiles in Hezbollah's arsenal. So U.S. Israel Defense Minister claims Hezbollah's leadership is over. They're done. We have weakened them. Gallant said, yeah, we made them to submit to us, only to find out that the Hezbollah launched 100 rockets in half an hour. So this is how much they lie. This is how much the propaganda works, or Israel propaganda, they want to work for them. But obviously they're getting called out. Gallant is a big-time liar. We all know that. What is going to be happening right now for Israel is something absolutely devastating. A big embarrassment, because they now cannot retaliate against Iran. The Zionist American, they said, oh, where is Iran's attack? Where is Iran's retaliation? For a very long time, up until they found out that Iran did launch those ballistic missiles. Now we ask you guys this question: where is your retaliation? They cannot retaliate against Iran. They do not know what to retaliate. If they go for the nuclear sites, they will be done. Iran will use nuclear bomb. If they go for the oil field, if they go for the leadership echelon of Iran, none of them will spare Israel whatsoever. And Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, he made it very clear that any attack on Iran's infrastructure, including its leadership, will mean that Iran will retaliate, and there is no doubt about that. Thank you guys for joining this session. If you have any more comment, leave a comment. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.